Well, here we are. So I'm just trying to test this out, make sure that we got a good live stream and I can actually set this up and I just got to figure out lighting. The lighting's kind of weird but it's okay. It'll work. But tonight I just want to talk about a couple things coming up. We have some bands joining us. Also, we have some authors joining us this season and I actually just met one the other night and she's a pretty cool person and the audience being I think about 70% of our audience is about women, and the author has a book out about narcissism and how to deal with it. It's almost like a guidebook. It's a pretty good read. I've read the first maybe couple pages of it, and it seems pretty cool. But yeah, I'm just kind of here trying to just check out the live stream, see who shows up, if anybody shows up at all. It's not like one of you. It's probably Alethea. But you guys can drop some comments, ask some questions, and I'll be here. I was gonna edit tonight, but I don't feel like editing. I'll probably edit in the morning. I actually gotta go to Billings in the morning, or actually tomorrow sometime afternoon, and do some stuff, do some work. Well, yeah. So we have some. It's a strange thing what's happening right now because we have some authors that are sending us some books, and we have what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read those books, take some notes on them, and then we're going to bring them on and interview them. And that's gonna be something we're gonna tie into the Fallen Hour brand. And I'm kind of reshaping the Fallen Hour brand, and we're still kind of in the infancy stages of what I want it to look like. And I guess the theme for now is I want to start from scratch. And that's kind of basically what you guys are seeing is Fallen Hour from scratch. I don't have an intro yet. We haven't done much of shooting of like any videography or photography. I haven't done much branding on like graphics or anything. I haven't done much of anything except for going live, and we've hit a big audience, especially in the area with the live streams with investigating. And that's become probably one of the biggest parts of our brand so far. I mean, I've always known that I've wanted to investigate. I've always wanted to get called to places and build Fallen Hour to a point to where we can get called to places and investigate and help people. And that's kind of where I'm leading the investigation part of the paranormal part. So we're launching Fallen Hour Paranormal, and that will be a big part of what we'll be doing. So I grew up in a Christian household, studied the Bible. I've studied demonology and about angels and how demons work. And if you guys listen to the podcast, I'm sure many of you will know that any kind of subject we touch on, I always go back to biblical stances, or it's just the way I think about things. I'm myself am religious, and that's kind of how I want to. I've always tied that into the Fallen Hour brand, anyways. If you guys listen to the podcast regularly, you'll notice that no matter what kind of subject pops up, I always try to find a solution, whether that's biblical. And then we look around and find other texts that around the world that are ancient and trying to find a solution to a problem or to a happening. Because you'll see that a lot of these hauntings or beings that are around tend to be ancient figures you can find in folklore or ancient text or ancient stories passed down. And especially the native culture is one of the ones that I want to help preserve. And starting out Fallen Hour in the beginning about, geez, man, it's been some years now. But starting out then, we had some kind of backlash with it because if you guys, I know a lot of my audience isn't Native American. A lot of what we have and what we hold is sacred. So a lot of the storytelling, a lot of the stories can be sacred. And it's kind of hard to navigate those, whether that be like elders in the community or the cultural surroundings that we have. But I believe that we're stepping into an age now to where we can preserve Native American legends, storytelling, beliefs, and such through these forms and through podcasting, through videos, through whatever you guys are doing out there. And I've actually been reaching out to, and I didn't know there was so many local podcasts. And I guess I just been blind to it because I've always just been so focused on whether that's business or because I know a lot of you guys know that I do a marketing in the daytime. So my main business in the day is marketing. So I aid businesses in Billings and Hardin and wherever I'm called to. I help them in their branding and brand awareness. But I've always noticed there is this kind of need for preserving stories. And that is what kind of started off Fallen Hour. What Fallen Hour actually started off as the art part of Fallen Hour, and then we moved into more of we had like a dead space there for a bit for a couple years, and then I decided to start a podcast called Fallen Hour Radio. And that has become one of the I think our listeners are part of the biggest part of our platform. We have tons of listeners, Spotify alone, we get tons and tons of listeners. And what I want to do is support local podcasters. So if you are a local podcast, whether you're a Crow, whether you're another Native American, maybe you're in another reservation and you have a podcast, I want you guys to reach out to me and I want to create a hub. I want to start supporting other native podcasters. And there's actually one that reached out to me and he turns out to be my cousin too that I didn't realize that I guess we played together when we were kids and he's got one of my other cousins on his podcast, Jesse Shane, and he reached out to me and wanted to collaborate and I said I would. And I think it's the Life After Dark podcast. And we've been talking, and his name's Zach Cummins. And so we're navigating a bunch of parts right now. So we have the podcast itself. We have the branding that we got to do. We got to start from scratch. We got to do these interviews and interact with our audience. And I want to make sure that I include you, the followers, fans, the people out there that support me and support Fallen Hours as a brand itself. But I also want to build something that is sustainable, something that makes an impact in the community. I want to help businesses in the area. I want to help podcasters, artists, music artists, bands. So we have a lot of bands coming on board. But the big thing is right now we are moving more into paranormal investigating. And this has been something I have been into since I was a child. I mean, I've always been into the paranormal. I've always studied um, paranormal happenings and always grew up listening to my one of my heroes, Clyde Lewis, Ground Zero. And he was actually going to be part of the come on the podcast. I got to back out to him again, but that would be a crazy interview to get Clyde Lewis on the podcast. But I want to. We're moving into this portion now of paranormal investigating, and it's funny to see the local reaction because there's a lot of listeners here, but I'm also getting a lot of new followers because we're doing the investigating, and it's become interesting to see the response. I'm getting responses from older generation, the younger generation, people telling me to go places and inviting me places and letting us into their buildings. And a lot of these businesses also in Hardin have opened up their doors to us, and it's been amazing. It's been a really, really, really cool ride we're on, and we're going to continue. But that is our plan going forward. We do have some places that we have planned. I know that we've done a podcast inside of the Moss Mansion. So if you guys don't know that, go back into our catalog. We have a podcast we did in the Moss Mansion, which was a crazy experience because we went in there for about I think 3 days to shoot some footage and kind of do some cool stuff in there, some photos and whatnot. And one night we told them we're gonna do a podcast, and this one of the ladies there said, "Okay." So we went there, we got there, and she left us alone in the place. We had the whole place to ourselves, which was nuts. So we're kinda having that happen more and more again with the investigating. These these business owners are letting us inside of their buildings, and they're letting us just do our thing inside of their shop and see if there's anything there. And there's a lot of skepticism going into it as well because you have to we're on the kind of like on the teeter-totter within the audience because one, we have to prove is the paranormal real? Uh, two, what is happening? Like, what are you experiencing when you experience a haunting? I know my personal beliefs and I know what a haunting is. But there's a lot of people out there and a lot of our listeners are of different faiths, they're of different religions, they're of different beliefs or superstitions or you know what I mean? It's a whole lot of different beliefs out there. And what we do is we go in, we investigate, we prove that there is something strange happening. Some of the findings that we've come across have been strange. They've been strange. We investigated a local place here, and the next day, um, one of the business owners inside of this building said, "You got to tell Cedel that he ruined our clocks," because I guess for some strange reason, after we did our investigation there and we left, all of the clocks in the building stopped working, and that's kind of funny because like, how does that happen? There was like a big clock that's like in the center of the hall, the clocks inside of individual shops, all of the clocks just quit, and that was kind of a funny thing, and then we also did Bullis Mortuary, and that's kinda become a home of Fallen Hour. Steve Kierkegaard has been, fundamental in supporting Fallen Hour from the beginning, and he's allowed me to do my podcast there, and he's allowed me to investigate the mortuary, which was kind of in and of itself was kind of interesting because, like, who does that? What what other mortician would allow you to do that? And we caught some strange stuff that night, but I think the podcast that I'm gonna be putting out soon, we've caught more stuff in that podcast setting than we did actually investigating. And but after our investigation, I talked to one of the workers there, and she was telling me that there's been an uptick, and this has been the theme, and this has been a theme with the podcast nonstop. Anyways, like when we do podcasts, usually our guests say they have some sort of stuff happening in the house after the podcast. But I guess after we went to Bullis Mortuary, did our investigation, me and Wheezy, Aaron Baker, the co-host, the next day or the following week, they were having an uptick in activity, hearing bangs, footsteps, I believe it was Steve who smelt the woman's perfume in the in the building, and it just disappears, and those things are common, and I think if you guys listen to the podcast, one of the things I talk about is the commonalities that those have, is how spirits work and how demons work. Is we lose a loved one, and one of the things that happens is we smell their perfume, or we smell smoke, or like if they're a smoker. And that's kind of a doorway into inviting a haunting in, inviting a demon to come in and play because they're playing on basically that loved one's persona. And that's what demons do. But we've along this journey, it's been quite a ride to see the response from all of you out there, especially in the Crow area, in the Hardin area. And I know that the Native American community is a huge supporter when somebody does something. I know there's a big support system there, and I am so happy that a lot of you have supported me and supported this venture. And it's been pretty cool, and I'm happy to see you guys respond. I'm happy you guys I've been getting tons and tons of messages. My phone does not stop going off. I was talking to my wife tonight, and I was like, "Man, my phone doesn't stop going off until, geez, like 12 o'clock." And she was saying sometimes it doesn't even stop going off till like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. People inboxing me, telling stories, sending in audios, videos. We've had some videos come in that are UFO related, and I want to touch on that also in a podcast coming up. But this next podcast I'm going to release is me and Aaron Baker, and we're sitting inside of the coffin room, which would be the showroom inside of Bullis Mortuary. And that night was the creepiest that we've felt inside of that building. I've been in that building alone. I've shot footage in there alone and done a podcast and kind of like a re-intro to Fallen Hour, saying, "Hey, we're back. I'm coming back. I'm doing the podcast again." And I was fine. Nothing creeped me out in there. I could be in that building alone. I've done marketing and worked inside of Bullis for some time, and I've been around the building, and I've never felt anything, never witnessed anything or nothing like that. But this night that this podcast that's gonna be coming out, me and Aaron had just this feeling of unease. It wasn't a heaviness. It was like an unease, like something was watching us or following us. One of us went to the bathroom and during the break, and Aaron thought maybe I followed him to the bathroom, like I was walking behind him. I thought I heard like a hum while I was in the bathroom, and I thought maybe Aaron was like blowing his nose or something in the room or something like that. And but things like that were starting to happen, and if you guys go and watch that that investigation, it was a weird one. We caught a big bang inside of the chapel while we were in the opera prep room, and I had audio mics set up all around the building, and while we were in the operating room, me and Aaron heard audibly this huge thump, like a big bang. And I wouldn't know until during editing which room it came from, and it was from the chapel. And I looked back in the footage, couldn't see anything, couldn't find anything. We were sitting in the back pew also, and me and Aaron heard it sounded like somebody sat down on one of the front pews, and that was creepy because me and Aaron reacted both in real time to what that was, and then we just got this ugly feeling like something was there, and we had a lot of activity that night. We had a lot of people write me after that video because they were hearing their family members' names inside of the apps we were using and the spirit boxes we were using, and we've been getting a lot of those too. So we do these investigations, and once we do the lives, I know that there's a connection between myself and the viewer. There's a when you guys are watching the whether we're doing an investigation or a podcast, maybe we do a podcast live, there's a connection there. And when we're running a spirit box, a lot of the times what we've been getting is people writing us and telling us that their loved one came through or they heard their loved one's name. Or a famous case of somebody missing, they heard somebody's name. I had family, some people reach out to me for help to investigate, and we're opening up basically. It's going to be a hotline now because we're going to start taking house calls. We're going to still these buildings everybody wants us to do. I think the books. It's just a scheduling things because he's open between like Wednesday to Sunday. So we're trying to get in there. I've got a whole history on the building. I've walked through there many times. I would just go and sit with the owner of the Brass Rails Chicken, Lloyd, and just sit with him often. And I've been in the building, and it's felt creepy going to the back, like to the bathroom area. I don't know if any of you guys had experiences there at all, like spending time inside that building. But I know that building is pretty old. So, and I got a pretty cool history on it, and but Archie himself has got a hold of me and told me that he wants me to go in the building and investigate, and that's probably going to be one of the biggest ones I believe that you guys will watch because everybody's waiting for it. But is there anywhere you guys would like us to go? Do you guys have a house that has a haunting? Do you experience a haunting yourself? Do you have bad dreams? Um, there's certain ways your body reacts to a demon also in the building. You can have headaches, you can have stomach pain because your spirit rests in your belly. You can have nightmares and things, things like that. And it can all be attributed to something maybe you have in your house. Maybe it could be something you're wearing. And it could be a symbol. It could be anything. And that can attract these things to places, incense and all those sorts of things. And I would talk to somebody tonight that wants me to investigate. I'm announcing probably tomorrow. I'll hear back officially tomorrow. And I know that once I announce this, you guys are going to be excited for it. And I'll actually be investigating probably, hopefully, mid this week. But somebody got a hold of me tonight and they said they want me to investigate this building, and they say themselves when they go in the building they don't feel anything, but when other people are around, those people have experiences inside of this building. So there is kind of like a parallel between people themselves can carry something, people themselves can have basically attachments, or they can be more susceptible to paranormal happenings, or they can attract things. People, I think, move through time, especially, and move through space, especially, in a different way. I believe that a lot of us experience things differently. Like I could feel something in a building, and maybe you don't, or maybe I feel uneasy in the building and kind of feel kind of creeped out about the building, and you don't. And we all kind of have different experiences. And that's kinda how we go into these investigations anyways, is we don't rely on feeling, we don't rely on, rely mostly on our equipment, and that's kinda why I wanna rely on for now. And then we can get into the aftermath and do podcasts of the aftermath, and how did we feel during the investigation? what was our thought process, what was our protocols, and things like that. So the website, if you guys go to the website right now, it's on the screen. I am opening up tickets again. Tons of you guys already bought tickets, but I want to give a chance to more of you out there who are watching that want to join me on a hunt. And everything that you guys will see on screen, or actually it's on my Facebook page, you'll win. So you'll get a poster, you'll get a beaded item from my wife, Hourglass Treasures. You'll get a $25 gift certificate to Grizzly Ground Coffee, Red Light Spa and Tanning, Praying Woman Boutique. I think she's doing something. You'll get a signed poster and stickers from myself, and we're also working on a lot of new merch too. So if you guys want to enter to win that, make sure you go and buy a ticket. Tickets are $10. You can even just buy one if you want. That's fine. It's not about the money. It's just about the I'm trying to fund Fallen Hour, and I'm trying to have it fund itself and have a community that's able to fund it and help create something meaningful. And when I put out designs for whether that's a sticker or a poster, I'll make sure that I get your input on what comes out, what you guys would actually want to take, and we'll do that. And so it's going to be a storyline. I guess you guys are going to experience during Fallen Hour. I'm going to do a lot more of these during the week. So if you guys are open to that, if you guys would like to join in and talk with me, we can do that during the week. I would probably like to do that midweek. Podcast will probably be coming out Fridays and Saturdays. Um, I got to edit this next one quick, so it'll be out hopefully Friday or Saturday. But we're getting it back into a routine. So we kind of took a break there for a second from investigations, but we have locations that are opening up. We have locations that we can go to this week. So be on the lookout and make sure you guys keep up to date for this on the social medias, whether that's the page or TikToks, uh, the website, and take a look at the merch. There'll be updated soon. I'm actually looking at merch tonight. I'll be designing some stuff and putting some designs out there for you guys to take a look at. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you guys comment in this live video and I'll answer them. But we are on a journey and we're starting from scratch. And I know that you guys are used to Fallen Hour having like this cool intro, and the listeners that have been with us for a while. We have an intro, and then we have an intro video, and then we go into our podcast. I have a different way that I want to do the Fallen Hour thing, and I think it's gonna resonate with a lot of you out there. I'm including a lot of you, especially with sending in your stories. I have a lot that I have banked still that I have to release. I have UFO videos that I can put out. I got some ghost videos I got to put out, some creepy ones. And if you guys just even have a story, if you have a story even, or if you have dreams, if you have a strange dream, send that in. And I want to put that story out there because it all connects. I believe that when we're sleeping, we enter a state that we enter a spiritual state, I believe. I believe that God speaks to us in our sleep, um, in a lot of ways, and a lot of also other things happen while you're sleeping. You can be susceptible. So I want to hear about your dreams, whether you're having nightmares, whether you're having good dreams, whether you have symbology that sticks out to you. Maybe you seen like a bee or something, or a bear, or a dog, or casket. There's such things as animalistic spirits. There's such things as attachments. There are warning signs inside of your dreams that can. And it's funny because people always get confused about dreams because Why doesn't our body and why doesn't our mind just tell us what's wrong or what's going on or what's coming or is change coming? And why doesn't it just tell us? And we have to like go through this like symbology. And I never go look anywhere else besides biblically to look in my dreams. That's just me personally. Um, but I also am going to be putting some stuff up on the website that will help you with protection. I'll have some like oils and things up there, relics, a lot of cool things that are coming to the website, and I think that you guys will enjoy it. And but yeah, I think that's about it. I just came here to test out this live stream and make sure it works and make sure that it's doable. But yeah, this if you guys, this is where I edit. This is my editing space. I have like that screen back that used to work. And I don't know what I don't know. Something happened to it and it stopped working. I'm updating. I got a laptop now. The I'm probably gonna get a new computer, but this is where I do a lot of my editing. It's this whole space right here, and then a lot happens here. Take a whole lot of phone calls here. Talk to a lot of people in this spot. Um, yeah, but I'm also making some cool things to sell or give away. A lot of things that I would wear. I'm gonna put those up on the website. I'm gonna make them myself and put them up on the website, like bandanas. I make these bandanas with chains on them, with leather on them. I'm hoping that Alethea can incorporate some beading with some of this stuff. I am going to be coming out with a signature design piece of my own with beading that I already have. And that's going to be a signature to the website and Fallen Hour. And that'll be available for purchase with Hourglass Treasures, my wife's business. And you guys make sure you guys go support her. I mean, she's been beating like crazy and she's been doing well. So, and she's been coming up with some cool ideas and she's really passionate about supporting Fallen Hour and Fallen Hour brand and pushing this with me. And if you guys didn't know, Alethea has been behind the scenes this entire time. She's my wife. She's the whole reason that Fallen Hour ever started. She's the whole reason I'm sitting here in front of you now. She pulled me out of a lot of things. She's helped me along in my life, and Fallen Hour wouldn't exist if it wasn't for my wife Alethea. So make sure you go and to the website fallenhour.com, purchase some earrings of hers. I'll have some updated earrings up probably tomorrow, and you guys can purchase those. And when you guys purchase those, it also supports the Fallen Hour brand, and it helps us do more videos. It helps us pay for things like these streaming services that I'm using that allow me to stream on multiple platforms at once, to interact with you guys much easier, to create websites and things like that. I got 2 websites. So also what I want to talk to you guys about, if you guys didn't know, I have a memorial business that I work alongside with Bolus Mortuary. It's fhmemorials.com. If you guys need a slideshow, if you guys need a service announcement, if you guys need a farewell message from a family member, if you guys need anything for your loved one, I'm passionate about that field. I've done tons of slideshows for people that have passed away. And I hope you guys go into fhmemorials.com and check them out. FH Memorials, our Fallen Hour Memorials on Facebook, and I have some of my slideshows that I've done in the past. I also will be back around again during services, doing live streams for the memorial side of my business. So I do the marketing and I have the memorial business and I do all sorts of things and podcasts. And also I'll be launching, if you guys are into crystals and things, because I work with a shop in Billings. These are friends of mine. But so they sell, if you guys know, Stones and Bones in Billings, 701 24th Street West, Billings, Montana, open from Tuesday to Saturday, 12 to 6 p.m. I've known these guys for years. They're some of my best friends, Chris and Crystal Hamilton, Patty. I help them out with their social media, but I'll be starting a podcast actually relaunching a podcast for Stones and Bones, and I'll be the host, and I'll be talking about crystals and their healing properties because it's become like a big boom. You know what I mean? Like people resonate, and it's an actual ancient practice that people use stones. A lot of stones are mentioned in the Bible, the tabernacle. I know they're using the tabernacle. There's different stones that were used that God used and mentioned in the Bible. But the Stones and Bones podcast, I'll be talking about the history. I'll be talking about scholars that named them, discovered them, when they were discovered, because there were some that were discovered recently, even. Montana is one of the only places in the United States that is capable of growing diamonds. So that'll be something I'll be talking about. I'll also be covering strange history on Stones and Bones podcast. So make sure you guys go to YouTube, look up Stones and Bones Billings. I have videos up there already, old podcasts. I'll be relaunching that podcast probably this week. So I'll have my podcast, I'll have the investigations, I'll have that podcast and the memorial stuff, and you guys can get a hold of me. So I think that's all I got for you guys. But I got I got a couple books with me. Um, so if you go to Amazon, there's a book I want you to look up, and it's by her last name is Peterson, and the book is called "Do You See What I See?" And it talks about narcissism and being in a narcissistic relationship. And it's basically a tool guide that she's created. She's been in uh, nursing practice for about 20 years. She's a really nice woman, and she's studied psychology and all that. She's written this book, and I'll link that probably tomorrow to where to purchase it. But if you look up her book, it's called "Do You See What I See?" And I should have pulled it up on the can't even see it. I should have put it up on the screen, but I can't. I don't have a picture of it. Make sure you guys go and buy her book because I'm going to have her and her partner on the podcast, and it's probably going to be like a 3-hour podcast because we're going to talk about psychology, the psyche, what happens, what does development mean, how does one become a narcissist, how do you spot one because sometimes they can be sneaky, how do you deal with one, how do you disarm them, or how do you heal from them? So I'll be talking to her soon. She'll be coming on board. I also have another author that sent me a book, and his book is called The Grand Game. And Tim Arens, I know it's backwards, but this guy's will be coming on the podcast. This is kind of like it's like I guess like uh, almost like a Lord of the Rings kind of thing. And this is probably one of the favorite things I got in the mail because this guy wrote about. Okay, so it's called "A Scientist's Own Alien Abduction Encounters: Dominion Lost," and it's by Bruce E. Rapuano, and he has a PhD. Wife's giving me notes. But there's a dude sent me a book about aliens, which I freaking love. I love aliens, but I'm afraid of them. Like if they take me, I'm not coming home. But yeah. So I'll be creating a lot of things. If you guys didn't know, I love the Mad Hatter, and I try to like hit a lot of the way I dress is like in I guess influenced by the Mad Hatter. I love the Mad Hatter. I actually want to learn how to make hats, but yeah, that's all I got for you guys tonight, and I'll probably go live again tomorrow. I'll probably get better lighting for you guys because this light sucks. So guess that's it, guys. I'm happy you guys have joined me. I know it's late, and I know that there's just a few of you guys here. Tomorrow, I'll probably go live a little later or a little earlier just to get you guys on. Just sit here and chat with you guys, ask questions. Let's tell some stories. Let's tell ghost stories. If you guys send me your videos, I can put them on screen while we're talking. So we can do that tomorrow. I think that's about it. So if you guys want to win a chance to come on an investigation with me with Fallen Hour, go to the link on the screen, fallenhour.com/events, and it'll take you to the hub and at $10 and it'll get you a ticket. Enter all you gotta do is put your name and your number and I'll give you a call if you win. And I will be drawing on Thursday night, 7 o'clock. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks.